Hello. Oh, let me see if I can adjust my camera here. There we go. How are you today? So excited to have you here. Welcome to Cleangoodeats Live Q A. I am Sakina Bunch, and today we are going to talk about self-care. I don't think that we realize how important self-care is. I know initially I didn't. I figured, we deal with the physical. The physical is the most important, and we'll deal with all of this later on if we need to. But in actuality, what goes on up here affects all of this down here. So when we think about stress and we think about self-care, self-care is very important, and it's important that we do it routinely. So let's define what it is. Self-care is bringing your body back into balance, de-stressing. So I want to show y'all my happy place. This is where I come to distress. Hold on, here we go. Look at this. This is my happy place right here. Just grass and beautiful and calm and peaceful. Yes, this is my happy place. So I come here and I meditate sometimes, meaning I just get into my thoughts. I have my quiet time with the Lord. It is just, it's an amazing place. But what happens when you don't do self-care routinely? Okay, when you don't bring your body back into balance, when you don't have that downtime to just de-stress and forget about the worries of the world, well, it can bring on a lot of health issues. Now, when you're stressed, okay, there's a good stress and then there's a bad stress. That good stress is when you're running that race and you're gonna win that race. That's great stress. Your cortisol is flowing, your adrenaline is flowing, you're gonna win that race. However, when the stress is not so good, maybe it could be stress on your job, stress in your marriage, stress with taking care of an elderly parent or maybe a disabled child, or just taking care of children in general. When we have those stresses and we don't have time, oh, excuse me, I'm outside, as y'all know, and I have these two little dogs over here, which are really, really cute, but they're, and then there goes mine. So don't mind all that noise in the background. So I'm going to continue with this, talking about stresses, and this is my happy place, right? Life really does happen over here. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so when you're dealing with those types of stressors, you need time to just, balance out, relax, bring your body into a place of quiet so that you can focus on you. I'm giving you permission today. It is okay to focus on you. So let's talk about what happens when you don't focus on you. Stress is not just a here issue. Stress affects every part of your body. When we are stressed, we can have heart issues. We can develop autoimmune issues. We can develop insomnia. There are so many things that can go on. So right now we're going to talk about some food allergies. Didn't know that you could develop food allergies from stress. I'm going to explain to you how that happens. You're stressed out. You have these cells in your gut, and they're like this, right? They regenerate themselves maybe about every 3 days. Their sole purpose is to not allow any food to get past your intestinal wall. But when you're stressed, what happens is you stress these cells out too. And so now that they're nice and close like this, when you put stress on them, then they get bigger and they get bigger and they get bigger. When they're like this, the space in between them is small enough to allow nutrients to get through, or shall I say big enough to allow nutrients to get through, but small enough not to allow food to get through. Well, when you become stressed and you stress these cells out, now they're becoming further and further and further apart. So what happens is not only you're not getting the nutrients because they can't extract the nutrients out, now the whole food particle is getting into your bloodstream. When your body sees this, it's like, uh-oh, invader, invader. and it begins to attack it. So when it attacks this food, it's looking at it as a disease, something that should not be there, and rightfully so, because food particles shouldn't be in your bloodstream. But you don't necessarily have a food allergy. You've got a gut issue. So stress can bring on a whole heap of problems that you may not necessarily want to deal with. So what are some ways that we can de-stress? Well, sometimes we use workouts, right, as our de-stressors. I'm gonna go work out. I have clients that work out used to work out 2 hours a day. And for some, that's awesome. That is great. But for others, not so much. I know when I got into the military, I was not used to working out. And, in basic training, you were working hard. I was running, I was push-ups. I mean, I had a six-pack, I had, ass, muscles, I had it all. Well, almost all, we won't go there. But I didn't have my cycle. And my body responded to all of that physical activity with withholding my cycle. And so for me, that stress was not a good stress. The six-pack was good. Well, I had a four-pack. It wasn't really a six-pack, but that was good. But nevertheless, it was too much of a stress on my body. And so I say that to you because if you're figuring, well, man, why aren't I losing weight? Why am I feeling not so relaxed after my workout? It could very well be that you are causing more stress to your body. And so those that cortisol that's in your body is building up and building up, and it's not allowing you to lose the weight. In fact, it might even put on weight, and you might have more of a belly because of it. So that's something to think about. I might have heard it. It was a statistic, and the statistic read that 90% of all children who die from suicide have some or had some sort of mental disorder. That's huge. 90%. So another statistic I came across was eating disorders. You're 12 times more likely to die from an eating disorder because of having mental issues that are not being addressed. There's no self-care that's being taken there. 12 million people, okay? People they're 12 times more likely. Crazy. Half of Americans, or 100 million people, are dissatisfied with their lives. 100 million people are dissatisfied with their lives. Got 12 million dealing with eating disorders, 100 million people who are just not happy with their lives. When self-care does not take a lot of time to do, doesn't take a lot of money to do, and so you can help facilitate what's going on up here so that this can help facilitate what's going on down here. Oftentimes we think we have to go and, pay all this money to get ourselves back in balance. And honestly, we don't have to pay a lot of money for medications or, pricey workout regimens or any of those things. Honestly, we just need to do some routine self-care. I have clients who have started their routine self-care but won't stay with it. And so that accountability of having that health coach there helps them out tremendously, and they've been able to do away with a lot of the medications that they were taking. Now, I'm not saying stop your meds. I'm not saying that at all. Please don't misunderstand me. But what I'm saying is that was just a natural result of having that health coach there as that accountability. So, why is it important to study or to have that self-care? We talked about why it's important. Now let's talk about what are some things that you can do. I mentioned before meditation. Breathing is so underrated. We don't breathe correctly. You can go on YouTube and you can find a million gabillion ways to breathe. But honestly, all you need to do is just breathe in and breathe out. And I'm going to practice that with you right now. So let's take a moment. I want you to sit upright in your chair with your hands on your knees and your feet on the ground. And you're going to breathe in to the count of 8. And you're going to breathe out as slowly as you can. And when you breathe in to that count of 8, you're going to breathe in until you can't breathe in anymore. You're going to hold it for 4 seconds, and then you're going to breathe out. So let's begin. Ready? Breathe in. I want you to try it again. Breathe in to the count of 8. Hold it for 4 seconds and breathe out. Breathe in. When you're breathing out, breathe out until you can't breathe out anything else. When you breathe out also, you want to breathe out through your lips like you're trying to blow up a balloon. Let's try it one more time. Breathe in. It's amazing, even with just that one technique, how you can bring your body back into balance. Your cells are getting oxygen, which, mind you, if you didn't know, they need that. So your cells are getting oxygen. Your brain is getting that oxygen. You're starting to feel tensions leave your body. Do that twice a day, 4 times each time, twice a day. When you wake up in the morning, before you go to bed at night. And do that routinely and see the difference that that may make. So what are some other things that you can do? I know in the morning, it is important for me to pray. I can't start my day without praying. And when I do start my day without praying, it doesn't go real well. So just pray. Or if praying is not your thing, reading. I know that there are certain things that I need to read before I begin my day. For me, it's the Bible. For you, it may be something different. Have a gratitude list. This, or even a journal. This is my gratitude journal. I write in here the things that I would love to do, the things that I'm grateful for. I try to do about 10 things each day that I'm grateful for, because negativity is also a stressor. And when you have negativity, your body is not in balance. It's not aligned, and it needs to be together. So if you're spewing out negativity, or you're taking in a lot of negativity, whatever's inside here is what's going to come out here. So you want to make sure that that negativity is under wraps. You want to control those thoughts that you have. We'll talk about those thoughts in a second, but with the gratitude list, do that every day. And even with the gratitude list, write some affirmations, some things that you believe about yourself. And even if you don't believe them about yourself, write them down until you do. I am healthy. If you're not a person who tends to be healthy, keep writing that affirmation. I am healthy. God says that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Therefore, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am successful. I am a positive person. You start talking these things to yourself, and you'll start believing them. I remember I was at a seminar by, I believe her name is Karis Brooks, and she told us this story about a friend who was going out on a date. She just got through a really messy divorce, and she was going out on a date for the first time. And this was a date that her friend set her up on, so it was kind of, blind date thing. So they're meeting at this restaurant, and she goes there, and she's sitting there, and she's waiting for this guy to arrive, and he doesn't arrive. And so she's like, oh my goodness, what's wrong with me? And as she's sitting there and he's not arriving, she's like, okay, well, let me just call my girlfriend. So she calls girlfriend, and her girlfriend says, what's up, girl? What happened? How is it? And she's like, well, he never showed up, and I don't know why he didn't show up. And the girlfriend says, well, I think he did show up. I think, he probably came to the restaurant and he saw that you were a little bit overweight, and that's not really what he's looking for. Your hair's a little frizzy too, so I really wouldn't blame him for not staying. She's like, what? What are you talking about? I'm calling you for moral support. And she's like, well, hey, girl, I'm just being real. I'm just keeping it real with you. I'm so sorry. But that's probably why he didn't stay. Now, sometimes you don't wear the cutest of clothes and you need a little bit more makeup, paint that barn. And so she gets off the phone with her friend and she is in tears. She cannot believe her friend just said all of these things to her. But you know what? The friend on the phone was the self-talk she gave. And we do that. We give ourselves these horrible pep talks, and they're all negative. Well, my nose isn't the way that I want it to be, so maybe I really should get a nose job, or my boobs aren't where they're supposed to be. Maybe, I would be more attractive if I had bigger boobs, or my hair is just real frizzy and it's, maybe if it was straight, it would be cute, or maybe if it was curly, it would be cute. Or I'm not that intelligent, she knows a whole lot more than I do. So why do we do that to ourselves? Why? That negative self-talk goes here, and straight into your gut. And so now you're wondering why you can't lose the belly fat, and you're wondering why, you're not going further in life. It's because of that self-talk. And so when we can control what's going on up here, we can control a lot more around us. Some other things that we can do, we talked about breathing, we talked about reading and journaling, and being mindful of the people you have around you. I am a firm believer, and this is not just the people that I have around me in real life. These are the people that I allow to be in my circle on any type of social media. People, even in my client base, I'm very particular about who I take on as a client. I don't live in the realm of negativity, because that causes sores, ulcers, things that you don't want to necessarily deal with. And you don't have to deal with it. You are in control of what's around you. Your circle that you permit to come into your space, you are in control of that. So control your thoughts, control the people that are around you, control the things that you take in to yourself. I know I love my Nana dearly, but she would watch a lot of those judge shows and things like Maury Povich, and I remember she wanted me to watch it with her one time, and I was like, okay, Nana, I'll watch it with you. I got through maybe 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I think it was Maury Povich I was watching. 5 minutes, or wasn't Maury Povich? Who's that other one? Jerry Springer. I think that's who it was. And 5 minutes, and people are fighting and arguing. I was like, because my stomach literally started hurting. I was like, I can't do this. I can't. And so I'm very particular. Yes, I watch a whole lot of, cooking things on YouTube and things like that, but that's probably about the basis. I'll go, like, I can't even watch Hell's Kitchen. That's just too much food. So take that into account. All right, some other things that you can do. Dream. I cannot tell you how important it is for you to dream. I have this little fly. I think he likes like the perfume that's in my hair. I don't know. Anyway, forgive me. Yes, I'm like one of those ADD. Ooh, look at the butterfly. But dream. It is so important to dream. When we are children, nothing is impossible. The world is our oasis. But when we get older, we don't dream. We take the job that's given to us. We take the salary that's given to us. We take the home that's given to us. We take the relationships that are given to us, and we don't dream. And so I challenge you to dream. Think bigger than what you have been thinking in the past. If there is something that you want to do, you want to be a pilot, but you're 40 years old. I don't know what the specifications of being a pilot are, but I am so sure that there are ways around it if there's an age requirement. I'm so sure. Dream and then work toward that dream. When you're writing, in your journal, write those affirmations. I am a pilot. And you write down all the things that you need to do in order to be a pilot. If you want to be a chef, write down all the things you need to do in order to be a chef. Being able to cook is a good one. Just saying. Okay. Learn the word no. When I learned the word no, it was so freeing. No is not a bad word. Now, when your kids are saying it to you all the time, maybe it could be a bad word. But it is not a bad word. In fact, no opens up opportunities and time for you to be able to say yes to those things you really want to say yes to. Eat healthy foods. Yes, this is a self-care item. Eat healthy foods. There are so many alternatives to the greasy foods that are presented to us, or the greasy items that are presented to us as food. I had a friend come over and I made an apple. They were sauteed apples with a vanilla ice cream on top and some bacon. Oh man, it was delicious. It was healthy because the bacon was uncured. Yes, for those of you out there. But it was healthy and it was delicious. And it was so much better than anything you would get at Baskin Robbins, Comfy Cow, Cold Stone, wherever. Next, move your body. Move your body. Move your body. Yes, workout is good. Take a walk. And if you're having a stress, you're stressing out in your marriage, take a walk with your husband. That could be a distressor for both of you, where you're walking along and you're talking. You actually have the time, because you're not doing anything else. You're not on your phones. You're not cooking. You're not taking care of kids. It's just the two of you and you are walking. Move your body. Even if you're just stretching, you're at your desk each day and you just want to stretch, just lean over. It's amazing what it does, even in here, for your body. What that does is it gets that oxygen flowing. It gets your cells moving. Yeah, movement is a wonderful thing. So let's see. I know that I had some questions here that I want to get to before our time is up. Let's see. One question is, how do I get rid of the negative people around me? That's a good question. Well, first you must say, do I value my body and my mind equally? Okay. Do I value my mind more than my body, or do I value my body more than my mind? You really should value both of them equally because when you have negative people around you, it's going to affect both. The best way to get rid of negative people is to set boundaries. You determine in your mind, for your life, for your body, what you will accept and what you won't accept. I tell people from the moment we meet, I am a positive person and I don't accept negativity. Now, if somebody needs to gripe about something, I give you 2 minutes. Gripe away, 2 minutes. We all need to gripe about something. But after that 2 minutes, we're done. Let's move on. Let's think of something more positive. I have a business coach and she's amazing. She allows me to gripe and she's like, honey. I love it when she says that. Honey, are we done? Yes, we're done. We have to move on because I know that's what that means. So yes, set boundaries and stick to them. Don't allow people to dictate to you what you will accept. You dictate to them. If they can't live or operate within the confines of your boundaries, I love you dearly, but it's time for me to keep you way over here. You might have to keep them afar, or you might have to just cut them off entirely, especially if it's on Facebook or any type of social media. You got one chance with me. I let you know. I send you a nice little private message. Please don't put that on my page. Or even if their page is riddled with it, blocked. I can't. And I've had to do that to family members too. So I'm equal opportunity. There's no favoritism here. Equal opportunity. All right, next question. How do I get, oh, I read that one already. How do I end the negative talk or complaining in my head? Well, we talked about those, the journal, that helps, and then the gratitude. The gratitude, 10 times, 10 gratitude items per day. It could be something so simple as I'm breathing. I had a client who, honestly, the only thing she thought was pretty about herself was her eyebrow. Just one eyebrow. I have a really good eyebrow. Hey, start there. But when she realized she had a really good eyebrow, she's like, well, I don't really have those wrinkles on my forehead. And she went to, various things. And, I do kind of have a nice speaking voice. And there are many things for gratitude and things that you can compliment yourself on. In my book, Wife to Be, A Survivor's Guide for the New and Not So Newlywed, I have that self-care chapter in there. And it talks about the things that you can do in order to begin loving yourself more. If you don't have it, you can pick that book up on Amazon. It's Wife to Be, A Survivor's Guide for the New and Not So Newlywed by Sakina Bunch. And in that chapter, it's phenomenal. Women have been telling me how it has truly transformed the way that they see themselves. So that is a great tool for self-care. Another question I have is self-care for single parents with a sick child. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're speaking of a chronically sick child or acute sickness, but we can talk just in generalities here. So the first thing that I would say is find someone who is knowledgeable enough to care for your child, loves on your child like you would, that will be able to take your child and care for them so that you can care for yourself. That's the first thing. Second thing is rest when they rest, if it's at all possible. Next, set an alarm for 30 minutes before you would normally get up to have that quiet time so that you can balance yourself. You can do your breathing technique. You can write in your affirmations. You can pray. You can read the word, whatever you need to do so that you will be in balance. You will be calm for when they get up. I also use essential oils. So I have, this one's wild orange right here, which I'm actually diffusing in my diffuser. And what a diffuser is, if you don't know, it's just I put a drop or two in a machine. Let me see if I can show it to you. Hold on. I'm going to spill it. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is my diffuser. Get all in my eye now. And all it is, I just fill it up with a little bit of water. I put in my wild orange. Wild orange, or any citrus for that matter, is uplifting. And so if you're having those feelings of, just the smell of it is uplifting. It's almost like nostalgia, like when you smell an apple pie or something that really you remember as a kid, and it puts you in your happy place. Peppermint too. Peppermint, be careful if you have kids under 10, but peppermint is a great one that I use because, again, that's another uplifting one. If you want one to just calm you down, you can use it before bed. Lavender is a great one as well. So essential oils are key for that. And you can also use, depending on the age of your child, you can also use essential oils with the carrier oil with that. And if you're interested in knowing more about essential oils, I do have a Facebook group. I'll put that in the link, what the Facebook group is, because I can't remember it off the top of my head. I have so many Facebook groups, but I think it's like Essential Oils Support and Education or something like that. So I'll put the link for that in the feed at the bottom. All right, next, give self-love to your children. Self-care is important. And so when you give that self-care to yourself, you're able to give it better to your children. And your children feel that. And I know mine, when they feel it, they kind of back off with trying to work mommy's nerve, because they're like, okay, she's giving me my fix for the day. Sometimes we need it. We need to give them more because they don't understand how to do it as well. So everything that I'm teaching you here, you teach to your children so that they can give it to themselves as well, so that they won't be like on you so much. All right, next, self-care on a budget. All right. Let's see. Oh, and one other thing too, for the single mom, care for single parents with a sick child, increase your nutrient intake. A lot of times when we eat junk food, we're tired, we're agitated. And when we're in that presence of mind, it's hard to give care to anybody else, let alone ourselves. So make sure that you're eating better, because that will give you more energy, it will give you more clarity of thought, and it will also help to ground you. All right, next, self-care on a budget. That's my alley right there. Go to the library, get books. Excuse me. Get books on audio, get books on CD, listen to them while you're in the car. Uplifting books. Listen to YouTube. I mean, that's free. Let's listen to YouTube. I have a lot of motivational speakers that I listen to on YouTube that will bring me back into a place of helping me to be calm again when I'm ready to snap on everybody. If you like actually reading and you don't have a library near you, or you can't, do Audible or Amazon, go borrow some friends' books and tell them you give them back. Do your own nails, hair, massage, foot massage. I have a foot massage that I regularly do for myself, and it helps tremendously. And if you put some essential oils in that foot massage, that helps too. Nice aroma. We talked about journal and praying. Talk to a friend if you need to just, chill out and talk to a friend. That's a good self-care too. Go to a matinee movie just by yourself. Did you see The Incredibles? I just saw The Incredibles 2. It was amazing. Go see that. That'll put you in a self-care frame of mind. We talked about dreaming. Depending on the age of your children, if you have children, go for nightly walks or morning walks. Be honest with yourself and evaluate your true health. So often we lie to ourselves about our health. Oh, it's not that bad. My leg is hurting, about to fall off. Oh, but it's not really that bad. No. And you want to get to the root. You're doing this because you want to get to the root of your self-care needs. So I hope that answered your questions. I hope that helped you in one way or another. If you have any more questions, please feel free to connect with me on Facebook. That's Cleangoodeats with Sakina B. Reach me on Instagram, Cleangoodeats. You can also reach me at cleangoodeats.com. Hit the contact me button. Let's see, any place else you can reach me? I don't know. You can find me cleangoodeats@gmail.com. You'll be able to reach me there too. So have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.